You know, if I were to get elected as deputy leader of the Green Party in, 6 weeks' time, it will be in spite, of the challenges that I've had. It won't be because of the, I love the party and that's why I'm here to do it, but it won't be because the party have helped me build a platform in that sense, or, try to give that support in that sense, or concerned effort to go, actually, as a person of color here from a marginalized community we don't have enough representation from, what can we do as a party to support them to try and grow and get elected either into leadership positions or externally, and I've not had any active discouragement or anything that is, to anyone trying to actively put any barriers in my place. But I don't believe there's been any concerned effort to take those barriers away or understand what those barriers are. And I think sometimes we do maybe expect these things to sort themselves out. I think we need to, and we've just had our Diverse Matters report, which is an important start, but it needs to be a real effort and work put in there to change representation, and sometimes it means putting policies in place, putting the right support packages in place and making an effort to having goals. We want to get a certain amount of people from a certain demographic or marginalized community in these elected positions. How are we going to get there? How are we going to plan this out? I don't see anything like this right now at all. And there is support for candidates of color. We have things like the DACA fund, which is a brilliant fund that you can apply for if you need support. But that was created because of an incredibly generous donation from a member who passed who was a person of color. That wasn't a fund created from an internal Green Party thinking, right, we don't have enough people of color elected internally or externally, let's create this fund so we can try and enable it. Because obviously, because of institutional and structural racism, unfortunately, people of color are more likely to be living in poverty. It's just a sad fact of it is. So as a Green Party, we speak about these things very publicly in social justice and the inequality and the widening inequality and the racial justice. But yet internally, what are we doing to combat that in ourselves? And what structures are there that are making it really, really difficult for people like myself to get into these positions? And like I said, I really don't want to de-emphasize like the difficulties has been for even myself, with the concurrent election campaigns, putting things like your career on hold a little bit and not giving it the concentration that it should be, putting yourself in financial difficulties to pursuing your aims with the Green Party. It's no secret I've spent a lot of my time dedicated to the Greens over the last 4 or 5 years. I've been a member for 8 years, but first few probably a bit more chilling. But a lot of my time, whether it's serving on the Young Greens for the time I did, working with the Federation of Young European Greens, running for election countless times, supporting election campaigns, all of these things, and as we all know as activists, you don't get paid a penny for these things all this time. My friends think I'm mad, but I'm doing this because I have a cause that I believe in, and this is what I want to do. But it's not because it's been enabled by the party to say, hey, there's someone here, person of color, marginalized community, who's really trying to secure social justice and help us get more Greens elected. What can we do, really actually do to support that? And that doesn't exist, I'm afraid. And that needs to change. And that's one thing I would absolutely certainly change, because these things will not solve themselves at all, and I just, it's really, really frustrating. I almost didn't run for deputy leader, this time. And I was going to, by not running, almost make a statement, put it out and say I couldn't run because I just can't run. I just can't, I can't take time off work. I can't take a day. I can't reduce one day a week just to concentrate on the campaign. I can't afford to get a video made. Luckily I've got a friend who's a video maker who's sorted me out, and things like that. So yeah, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. And that should be emphasized a lot and continually. So it's tough and there's work to be done. In regard to externally and the way we speak about climate change or race, absolutely, or the climate catastrophe, however we reference it, I get really, really frustrated, with a lot of the climate movement in general, and the Green Party can't make those same mistakes of speaking about this as if it's a Western issue only, and also maybe forgetting how these things started in the first place. But, right now, countries in the global south, I'd say right now, they have been for time as well. I've been suffering the awful consequences of climate chaos, severe heat, much more than we're experiencing now, severe droughts, having to flee their countries. People will be fleeing their homes today because of climate change. So we can't talk about how we need to act because in 5 years it'll be too late. What does that mean? 5 years is too late for who? Because it's too late for people right now. So, it's like climate colonialism in a sense, speaking in these terms. We've got to be better as a party. I'm very proud that, I helped both co-write and propose the groundbreaking policy for reparations and atonement for the transatlantic trafficking of enslaved Africans, which is also for the genocide and the ecocide of their lands, and that's a massive step forward. But again, we passed that policy. I didn't see our leaders talking about that policy. I will talk about that policy because it's important, you know. So this is what I mean. Are we outwardly reflecting the values that we talk about, you know? So really good question, and I'm glad you asked it.